Hello everybody, Hootini here, and welcome to the channel. This video will serve as an overview of the challenge series I'm about to do. Perhaps you will also notice that this is my very first video, so there's that. Let's dive right into it. I will be playing a ROM hack of the game Pokémon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky, simply called Pokémon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Skies. This ROM hack was created by Starro. All his info will be in the description. I will be playing his ROM hack, but I have added my own additions and twists to it as well. First, I'll be explaining the rules of this challenge. Rule 1. I can only bring 4 items to a dungeon and they have to be non-combat related. For example, apples, escape orbs, cleanse orbs are all allowed. Other items useful in combat like reviver seeds, stun seeds, max elixirs, sticks are not. But I can use any item I find in a certain dungeon, but only for that dungeoneering session alone. When I return, I have to store or sell any combat related item. For example, I bring 2 apples and 2 escape orbs to Steam Cave. There I find items I can use in any way possible. I can utilize reviver seeds and stun enemies with stun seeds, until I reach the boss, which brings up the next rule. Rule 2. I cannot use items that influences a boss, like stun seeds, sleep seeds and so on, even if I found them in the same dungeon session. I can, however, use items that impact my team, like reviver seeds and oran berries. Disclaimer. The item limit and rules in Beach Cave are left unchanged, as I will use this dungeon to eat vitamins like proteins and calcium. Rule 3. I cannot use link moves. Pretty straightforward. Linking moves makes the game, the boss fights or any fight really, very easy. You also gain 1.5 times the amount of experience when defeating something with link moves, so I won't benefit from that as well. Rule 4. I cannot use wonder mails. Also pretty straightforward, as this feels like blatant cheating in my opinion. Rule 5. Every enemy Pokémon will have max IQ. This is probably the most brutal rule. One I cannot get around because I personally programmed it in with a program called Sky Temple. This will be very hard and will force me to prepare for every step I take. And rule 6. At the end of every dungeon, except Zero Isles, Destiny Towers and other dungeons during the special episodes, will be a full room monster house. So yeah, simply gotta deal with that. Now, a short overview of what Starro has done. All the changes can be found when you open the link to his ROM hack on Project Pokémon. The things he managed to do are really incredible. He is very talented at what he does, so I can't give him enough credit. First, a lot of quality changes, including faster text, a new shortcut move menu, faster cocktails from Spinda, faster opening of treasure chests from Xatu, and most importantly, toggleable manual control over the whole team. With the press of a single button, I can fully control the leader and other team members. Very useful in tricky situations. Next to that, some sort of experience share for every Pokémon I have in the assembly, just like in Gates of Infinity and Super. Trust me, this is not overpowered in this challenge. Besides quality of life changes, he also added a handful of Pokémon. He also added some challenging dungeons, added new moves like Spinchlass and Excavate, signature moves of the weather trio of Groudon, Kyogre and Rayquaza, and oh yeah, he also added the fairy typing, along with some fairy moves like Draining Kiss, Dazzling Gleam and Moonblast. Also, a lot of items have new or recolored sprites to tell them apart more easily, which is very refreshing to look at. He also ramped up the difficulty of each and every dungeon, so the game will stay challenging throughout. Lastly, he revamped Destiny Tower into the ultimate dungeon. More details about that dungeon later, because I changed it up as well. So, those are the most important things he changed. I also changed some stuff. First of all, I added 107 new Pokémon. This was the biggest project of all, something I'm really excited about. There are also some new additions from Starro himself, being Alolan Ninetales, Alolan Vulpix, Sylveon, the Esper line and so forth. So all very exciting. Now, a little disclaimer. Sky Temple, the program that let me mod Explorers of Sky, is awesome but not perfect. I cannot add new Pokémon without deleting another one, unfortunately. So, I decided to get rid of most of the first stage Pokémon, like Pidgey, Machop, and so on. I was against this, but I didn't have a choice in the matter. It was this or almost no new Pokémon. Shiny and Mega Pokémon. These are the thing in Explorers of Sky, so I added about 30 shinies. Now, I'm not the best programmer in any regards. I wanted to decrease the odds of shinies to 1% spawn rate, but on that regard something went wrong, because of some of the code in Sky that can be changed. To combat this, I had to make one gender of each Pokemon shiny, so they won't be rare at all, but it will still be interesting to fight and recruit them all. Some Pokemon will also be in their Mega form, but unfortunately this is purely cosmetic. Still refreshing nonetheless. IQ rework. Another thing that I've been working on is the IQ system. A system that I actually didn't know quite well as a child. I thought gummies were regular food and nothing else, when in reality they boost IQ, which may as well be at least as important as your stats. Perhaps even more important. I didn't have any major problems with the systems aside from the fact that one IQ group is way more overpowered than the other. So I narrowed the groups down to a number of 9, with each their specific skills and uses. First, we have IQ group A, the Berserkers. They get the best offensive skills including Intimidator. They will not get any support skills and limited defensive skills. The tanks are up next, being IQ Group B. They will receive every defensive skill there is along with the tiny support and healer thrown into it. They will also get the Intimidator skill as well. The third group are the Assassins, IQ Group C. They will receive a mix of offensive skills and some utility skills while receiving no other defensive skills. Also some support skills. IQ Group D is a support group. These Pokemon get simple offensive and defensive IQ skills while also receiving the best supporting IQ skills like Stare Sensor, Map Surveyor and Trap Seer. This is a jack of all trades IQ group. Not really the best at anything, but very strong overall. IQ Group E are the healers. They will get some support skills along some basic defensive skills. They have the privilege of gaining the ultimate healing skills. Now, 4 IQ groups left. Only special Pokemon will get these groups. Pseudo legendaries are IQ group F. They will get all the offensive and assassin's IQ skills. Small legendaries get group G. They get some offensive and both all the support, defensive, assassin and healer skills. All big legendaries get IQ group H. Big legendaries get all the skills except healing skills. At last, we have IQ group I, the God IQ group. Of course, reserved for Arceus and Arceus alone. Arceus is the one and true God. He has access to all the IQ skills, which makes him very powerful. I wonder how we'll get to recruit him. That's it for the IQ groups. Before I go to the next change, I'll share my one point of criticism of this game: accuracy. I am totally okay with moves missing to balance them out. Thunder, Fury Swipes or Fire Blast for example, that I find completely normal. But basic moves like Pound with an accuracy of 90%, that's just a bit silly in my opinion. This creates situations where the player is both lucky and unlucky at some times. One time you miss 3 times in a row and get defeated, leaving you bitter, because it was just RNG. On the other hand, you could get lucky after an enemy misses a billion times in a row. Okay, cool, you can proceed, but it will be without a feeling of accomplishment. Luckily, I got a solution for this problem. I will allow every Pokémon to have the Concentrator IQ skill. This IQ skill increases accuracy while decreasing evasiveness. This pretty much fixes the problem. Moves will be more reliable for both me and my opponents. Because every opponent will have max IQ, they will already have this skill, which will make the early game only harder, because I will not have this skill yet. Don't worry, moves will still be able to miss, but this change makes accuracy lean more towards the main games. Next change, the stat rework. Besides the IQ rework, I also tinkered with the stats of almost every Pokémon. As you might or might not know, stats are a bit odd in these games if you compare them with the main games. With this system I don't have any problem with. It's kind of neat that most Pokémon share the same stat growth, which makes almost any Pokémon viable. What I don't like is the fact that certain Pokémon stats make no sense at all. Take a look at his Geodude, for example. His attack is the same as his special attack, which doesn't make sense at all. Now, does this impact the game a lot? Not really, but it does bother me slightly. So I changed things as well. I reduced his special attack and special defense while buffing his attack and defense. I did this for a lot of Pokémon to balance them out more nicely. Monster houses at the end of every dungeon. This was something Starro came up with. He utilized this at Drenched Bluff, but afterwards never used it again. I really like this, so I added this to every dungeon, except Zero Isles and Destiny Tower. Also, the unknown dungeon and other dungeons that rely on their normal layout will be kept the same. The final dungeons. Starro revamped Destiny Tower to be the ultimate dungeon that doesn't lower the level to 1 temporarily. I thought this was really neat, but unfortunately he sacrificed the ultimate dungeon that does reset you to level 1. As I really want the ultimate challenge, I decided to copy paste the vanilla Destiny Tower onto Zero Isles South. Destiny Tower 0 is now its new name. It will not be exactly the same because I have replaced some of the first stage Pokémon with new Pokémon. This probably will increase the difficulty even further. For those who don't know the difference between vanilla Zero Isles South and vanilla Destiny Tower, in Destiny Tower you cannot find or buy Reviver Seeds. There are more grudge and random traps. Also, you can only find TMs in Kecleon shops. This will completely delete Zero Isles South, except the reward floor at floor 99. But with Destiny Tower existing, it made the dungeon, except for the reward floor, kind of useless in the first place, if you were looking for the ultimate challenge. For Starro's revamped Destiny Tower, I upped the difficulty even more. All Pokémon will be level 100 and will, like all other dungeons, have max IQ. I will do something special here as well. All final stage evolutions of the Pokémon are available in here and will be encountered there, except on every 10th and the 99th floor. These will be special floors where I can encounter very intriguing Pokémon. Who those will be, you'll have to find out. New abilities and types for certain Pokémon. I did not create new abilities or typings, but I did add abilities to certain Pokémon to buff them. Same goes for typing. For example, I added the Dragon type to Sceptile, and I added the Lightning Rod ability to Zapdos, as pressure alone is kind of useless. For newer generation Pokémon with abilities that didn't yet exist in this game, I gave them abilities that lean most towards their original abilities. And that covers the majority of the changes that are made. I believe that in combination with the challenge rules, this will create an amazing new experience to this game. One I really want to share with you guys. So, whenever you're ready, let's begin this amazing journey together. Goodbye.